Hey there, welcome to Aphrodite. Now, I think I'm like most dads when I say that I'm the fixer of the household. Like, if you could look around my office right now, you'd see all sorts of things used for fixing things. I'm not going to show you my office because it is a complete mess and it's covered with all the stuff that I use to fix things. So, things like cables that are broken, or Xbox controllers, or whatever electrical component isn't working right now, or washing machines, or blazer buttons, or things in the gardens, or whatever is currently broken in our household, and there's usually something. I'm the guy that'll give it a go and try and figure out how to fix the thing before we call a professional in to do the job properly. Now, I think that's generally fine to do, but where it becomes a problem is when you take that need to fix things and you apply it to the people in your life. It just doesn't work. Now, this is a lesson I had to learn fairly on in my journey as a dad, and unfortunately it was a lesson that took me way too long to learn. But sometimes your kids are going to be experiencing something that they just have to experience. Sometimes they're going to have feelings. And sometimes those feelings aren't going to always be super great feelings. Now, as a dad, my first instinct is to try and fix the thing that's causing the bad feeling from happening. So if my kid is sad or upset or angry or whatever, I'm going to try and fix the thing that's causing him to feel that way. Now, if I can't fix that thing for whatever reason, I'm going to try and fix him. I'm going to say something like, it's not a big deal. You don't have to be upset. Let it go. It's over and done with. Let's move on. Or one of my personal favorites, aren't you a bit too old to be upset by this kind of thing? Now, you might be living with someone who sounds very similar to that, or you might be that person. And I think you got to know, first of all, that that kind of response comes from a place of love, right? You don't want the person that you care about and love to feel bad. So you're trying to do whatever you can to stop them from feeling bad. But if you are the fixer dad like me, you gotta know that your kids are gonna have to experience some bad feelings sometimes, and that the best thing you can do is just let it happen. Now, I'm not saying ignore your kid completely, but I do think you should give space for them to feel their feelings. So, hey, I can see that you're upset right now. If you want to talk about it, I'm here. Or like, whoa, 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 you are very upset and you're starting to say things that aren't very nice to me. So let's wait until we've both calmed down and then let's talk about this issue, because right now, this isn't going to work. I got to be honest with you. It has taken me forever to learn how to say things like that, and my gut instinct is still to run in guns blazing to fix whatever the issue is. If there's an issue between me and one of my sons, I've got to fix it right away. If there's an issue between my son and someone else, I've got to fix it right away. If something has happened that my son is upset about, I've got to fix it right away. But that has led to some very suboptimal experiences for all of us. That's just a really nice way of saying I messed up. So here's two reasons why I don't think it's the best idea to be the fixer of your kids' emotions. Firstly, sometimes your kids' emotions are completely out of your control, especially if they're younger, they're throwing tantrums, they don't understand why they feel the way they feel. There's an external force that's making them feel like that, like they have a tummy ache, or their teeth are sore, or someone said something very mean to them in class. Sometimes you just don't have the ability to change the thing that's making them upset. And if you're in a situation like that and you still try to fix the thing, you're going to end up being frustrated. And then you might become so frustrated that you then end up making your kid feel worse. That's not a good thing, and trust me, I know, because I've done it. And the other reason why I don't think you should just run in guns blazing being Mr. Fixer is because your kids do have to eventually learn how to deal with their own emotions. They have to know how to sit in their sadness. They have to know how to bring themselves from being too angry or being too disappointed with something. They have to know how to make themselves feel better. Otherwise, they're always going to be running to you to get them out of whatever funk they're in. Now, I think there's a good reason why dads in particular might struggle with this kind of thing, and it's because we have not been taught how to deal with our own emotions. We haven't been taught how to have complex emotions and to give words to the different kinds of things that we're feeling. We can either feel okay or angry, but we don't get that whole kaleidoscope of emotions that sometimes girls get taught. In fact, we get taught by the older men around us and by media in general that having no emotion is the best way to be a man. So having someone have emotion isn't a good thing. So that means that when we see someone that we care about having a bad emotion, we want to run in and save them from being not okay. But anyway, that's a whole other story. If you are a dad and you've struggled with dealing with your children's emotions, how have you dealt with it or not dealt with it? What is the stuff that you're currently struggling with? I would love to see it in the comments below. And maybe if you're someone who's seen a dad who has done this really well, like, tell us your tips. What have you seen dads do to like help their kids work through their emotions better, to help them be emotionally healthy and stable people one day? I would love to see those top tips and that advice in the comments too. Thanks so much for watching. Aphrodite out.